The story begins with a shrinking suit, a missing mother, and a hero who's stuck under house arrest with only a few days left on his sentence. And somehow, all three of those things are about to collide in a way that pulls him back into a world of size-changing chaos he was desperately trying to leave behind. This is the story of a rescue mission 30 years in the making, a family trying to bring someone home from a place nobody was ever supposed to survive. Stick around, because this one's got heart, humor, and a race against the clock that gets more personal with every scene. Let's start with where our hero actually is when this movie kicks off, because it's not exactly a glamorous superhero situation. After getting involved in a major clash between Avengers that violated an international agreement, our main guy is stuck serving out house arrest. He's counting down the days, trying to keep his head down and stay out of trouble so he can get back to a normal life with his daughter. Meanwhile, the two people who made him a hero in the first place are not exactly on speaking terms with him anymore. The brilliant scientist who built the original shrinking suit, and his daughter who's stepped into a hero role of her own, have gone into hiding. His actions cost them dearly too, and that fallout has left this whole makeshift family fractured right when they need each other the most. Here's the thing though. Behind the scenes, away from him, the father and daughter have been quietly working on something huge. They've found a way to briefly open a doorway into an impossibly small, impossibly dangerous place called the quantum realm. And they have a very personal reason for wanting to go there. Decades earlier, the scientist's wife shrank down to a subatomic size to stop a missile from detonating, sacrificing herself in the process. She was presumed lost forever. But now, after all these years, there's finally a flicker of hope that she might still be alive down there, trapped in a place no one has ever returned from. Just when our hero thinks he's in the clear, close to finishing his sentence and finally getting his life back, something strange happens. He starts having an incredibly vivid dream, one that feels less like his imagination and more like a memory that isn't his own. And it's connected directly to the missing wife he's never even met. That dream is the spark that changes everything. It suggests he's somehow connected to her on a deeper level, something the movie calls a quantum entanglement, a leftover side effect from his own trip into that same realm during his last adventure. Suddenly, he's not just a guy trying to finish house arrest quietly. He's the key to finding someone who's been missing for over 30 years. His old allies don't waste any time. Despite the risk to his freedom, despite how close he is to finishing his sentence, they pull him back into their world. It's urgent, it's risky, and it puts everything he's been trying to protect on the line all over again. And this is where the movie's central tension really locks into place. Every single move forward in this rescue mission puts his relationship with his daughter, and his own freedom, at risk. He's constantly torn between doing right by the people who need him and doing right by the one person who matters most to him. To pull off a full rescue, the team needs to build a stable tunnel into the quantum realm, something strong enough to actually get a vehicle down there and bring someone back. But building something like that requires a very specific, very rare piece of technology. And getting it means dealing with people who are not exactly trustworthy. They arrange a deal with a shady black market dealer to buy the part they need. It should be simple. It is not simple. The dealer realizes just how valuable this family's research actually is, and instead of honoring the deal, he decides to double-cross them and try to steal their technology for himself. This is where we really get to see the daughter step fully into her new role as a hero in her own right. She holds her own in a serious fight against the dealer's men, moving and fighting with a level of skill that makes it clear she's not just tagging along on this mission. She's leading it. But just when it looks like she's got the upper hand, a mysterious, unstable figure shows up, someone who can phase through solid matter like she isn't fully bound to our reality at all. This new threat, known only as the Ghost, overpowers her, and even with our hero jumping in to help, the two of them can't stop her. She escapes with something incredibly valuable, their entire portable lab, shrunk down and stolen right out from under them. Losing that lab is a massive blow, because it holds the key to everything, the tech, the research, all of it. Without it, there's no way to finish the tunnel and no way to bring their missing family member home. So the hunt is on to figure out who this ghost actually is, and why she wants their research so badly. That search leads them to an old associate, someone from the scientist's past who he hasn't been on good terms with for a long time. It turns out this new adversary isn't some random villain looking for a payday. Her condition, her strange instability, her power to phase through walls, all of it traces back to an accident tied to experiments with the same quantum technology this family has spent their whole lives studying. In other words, she's not simply a bad guy to be defeated. She's suffering, and she believes the only way to fix what's happening to her body is by getting her hands on their research, whatever it takes. That complicates everything, because now the mission isn't just rescue Mom, stop the villain. It's tangled up with someone else's desperate fight for survival too. Every attempt to get the lab back turns into another chaotic clash, with our hero and his partner bouncing between recovering stolen tech, dodging the people hunting them, and trying to keep the whole rescue plan from falling completely apart. The pressure keeps ratcheting up, and time is very clearly not on their side. In the middle of all this chaos, something remarkable happens. Through that strange quantum connection established earlier, the missing wife actually manages to reach out and communicate. It's proof, real undeniable proof, that she survived down there all this time, adapting to a place that should have been impossible to survive in. This moment shifts the entire emotional weight of the movie. What started as a theory, a long shot, a desperate hope, suddenly becomes very real. She's alive. She's been alive this whole time. And now the family has an actual shot at bringing her home after decades of believing she was gone forever. But surviving down there and getting her out are two very different problems. The tunnel still needs to be completed, the lab still needs to be secured, and the clock is ticking louder than ever. Every obstacle that's popped up throughout this story starts converging at once, forcing the team into their most dangerous and chaotic stretch yet. Amid stolen tech, double-crosses, and a villain who's just as desperate as they are, our heroes have to hold everything together long enough to finish what they started. The stakes have never been higher, and neither has the emotion driving every single choice they make from here on out. Everything builds toward one final, chaotic push. The team has to recover the lab, stabilize the tunnel, and actually send someone down into the quantum realm to bring her back, all while their enemies are closing in from multiple directions at once. It's messy, it's fast, and it's the kind of climax where every plan is falling apart in real time. The scientist makes the journey himself, going deeper and deeper into a world where scale stops making sense, searching for the wife he lost decades ago. It's a deeply personal mission wrapped inside all the size-shifting action and chaos happening back on the surface, and it gives the climax real emotional stakes beyond just stopping the bad guy. Back above ground, our hero and his partner are left to hold the line, fighting off threats and keeping everything from collapsing while that rescue plays out. It's a full-on sprint to the finish, with everyone's storylines colliding at once, the missing wife, the wounded villain, the double-crossing dealer, and a family finally on the verge of being whole again. And against all odds, it works. She's found. She's brought back. After more than 30 years lost in a place no one thought anyone could survive, this family finally gets the reunion they never stopped hoping for. What makes this movie work, underneath all the shrinking cars and size-changing fight scenes, is that it never loses sight of the family at its center. This isn't really a story about villains or stolen technology at its heart. It's a story about people who refuse to give up on someone they loved, even after 30 years, even when every logical reason said to stop hoping. It's also a story about second chances, about a hero trying to balance who he wants to be for his daughter with the pull of a world that keeps demanding more from him. And it's a story about how pain doesn't always come from villains with clear evil intentions. Sometimes it comes from people who are just as broken and desperate as the heroes trying to stop them. By the end, what sticks with you isn't the size-changing chaos. It's the image of a family, torn apart by loss for decades, finally standing together again. That's the emotional core this whole wild, shrinking, size-shifting adventure was building toward the entire time. So here's what I want to know from you. After 30 years lost in a place nobody was supposed to survive, do you think that reunion could ever really feel the same, or does that much time change everything, even when you finally get the person back? Let me know what you think down in the comments. And if you enjoyed this one, make sure you hit that subscribe button so you don't miss the next recap. There's a lot more where this came from.